Hi, welcome to Ladies of Another View. I'm back, and I have with me today Kendi and Carmen and Mary. Today we're going to talk about the media because there's so much to talk about. We're not getting tired of it yet. And we are the media now, but we're very different media than what we're seeing.
Right.
And we have a lot I want to talk about in this segment, but the next segment we're going to be joined by a communications coach, Vanessa Denha Garmo, and she works in the Detroit area. I've actually worked with her in marketing before, and she's got a master's in communications, and she's going to let us know what it's like right down on the ground, boots on the ground type of work that she does. But to start, I want to talk about last week. There was an Emmy Award-winning journalist. Her name was Carrie Lake, and she quit after 22 years in the media in Arizona because she said it is not fun anymore. It's agenda-driven. They're bullies. And here's a picture of her. She said there's dishonesty and fear, and you are not. I actually took a year of journalism at University of Detroit in the 70s. You're supposed to be fair and unbalanced. Really, really. I know it doesn't happen much anymore, but that was the goal. And now, you could lose a job for being fair and unbalanced. You have to have an agenda now. One of my heroes is Cheryl Atkinson. Have you heard her name?
Yes.
She was 21 years working for CBS, an award-winning correspondent. She did investigative reporting about both Democrats and Republicans. She did a book. It came out in 2014 called Stonewalled: My Fight for Truth Against the Forces of Obstruction, Intimidation, and Harassment in Obama's Washington. While she was investigating it, she was put under surveillance. She was bullied. It's ridiculous. You're in journalism, and the media went along with it. She was the bad person for investigating. And I have a video that she gave a TED Talk. It's 9 minutes, so I pulled about a little over 2 minutes of it, and it was hard because the whole thing is like, wow, wow, wow. It's just so amazing. But we've all heard of fake news, right? Yep. She wanted to find out, where did this term fake news come from? Who came up with it? So here's some of the video where we can get a big part of the story.
And whatever you think of the 2014 police shooting of Michael Brown, even the Obama Justice Department eventually ruled that the entire hands up, don't shoot scenario, which blanketed the news day in and day out, was probably fabricated, and that the police officer acted in legitimate self-defense. On President Trump's first day in office, a Time magazine reporter falsely reported that Trump had removed the bust statue of Martin Luther King from the Oval Office. The White House quickly tweeted out a photo showing the statue was still very much there. The reporter, perhaps blinded by his own bias, hadn't followed the most basic tenets of beginning journalism: check your facts. When connecting the dots, I find it often helps to follow the money. I wanted to know who was funding the nonprofit First Draft and its anti-fake news effort. I found the answer. It was Google. Google's parent company Alphabet was run by a man named Eric Schmidt. Eric Schmidt, as it happens, had devoted himself to Hillary Clinton's election campaign, offered himself up as a campaign advisor, and became a top multi-million-dollar donor to it. His company funded First Draft around the start of the election cycle. Not surprisingly, Hillary was soon to jump aboard the anti-fake news train, and her surrogate David Brock of Media Matters privately told donors he was the one who convinced Facebook to join the effort. I'm not the only one who thinks the whole thing smacked of the rollout of a propaganda campaign. Glenn Greenwald of The Intercept wrote, "The most important fact you need to realize is that those who most loudly denounce fake news are typically the ones most aggressively disseminating it." But something happened that nobody expected. The anti-fake news campaign backfired. Each time advocates cried fake news, Donald Trump called them fake news until he'd co-opted the term so completely that even those who were originally promoting it started running from it, including the Washington Post, which in January of 2017 wrote, "It's time to retire the tainted term fake news." I'll leave you with a final thought and a warning. It's about a new catchphrase being bandied about: media literacy, as in we'll tell you who to trust and who not to trust. Media literacy advocates are busy trying to get state laws passed to require that their version of media literacy be taught in public schools. They're developing websites as resources for journalists and the public. They're partnering with universities. I think media literacy is a new name promoted by some of the same people who want to tell you what to believe. People with their own agendas using terms designed to fool you into thinking they're neutral authorities.
Amen.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is. And she did that talk 3 years ago.
Right.
That's amazing that
yeah.
it's so spot on even today. You know.
But I would go to her website, Cheryl Atkins. She spells her last name ATTKISSON.com. Go to her website. She is an award-winning investigative journalist, and she knows her stuff, obviously.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, you know, it's interesting that you would even bring Carrie Lake up to start this segment, because I remember watching her when I lived in Arizona.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And even though I'm so disappointed that she has left, because she is an excellent journalist, I understand why. And I'm proud of her for actually having that conviction within herself, where she realizes that her occupation, the thing that she's spent her life working with, it's changed, and she needed to make a statement with that. So I'm proud of her for doing that, and it must have been a hard decision for her.
Yeah, and she had made the comment too that she has no malice for the people that are left behind in the journalism world still. And she talked about the new young reporters. And I mean, I had seen some things several years ago of how journalism school has changed and what they're teaching these kids to do to be a good journalist. And it's probably not fair and balanced, you know. But she had said she has no malice, and she said it hurts her heart basically that you see these kids that they think what they need to do is everybody needs to get down on somebody else. That's what news is all about. Trash somebody. And she said, I'm sorry to say they're losing their viewers because of it, but they don't realize that. So.
It's just going to take time. I just think that there's so much. I mean, a lot of people say follow the money. I say follow the corruption. Yeah. You know, it's like you report what you want. Or, excuse me. You report what we tell you to report. Or A, you won't work here. B, we're going to disclose family secrets. Or it's just sickening. And I'm just tired of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, something that was in that TED Talk that really stood out to me, and it caused me to think about what's happening, the threat with the George Floyd trials, and how the media, I mean, you think about what took place there, and it was a message that went throughout the entire United States, and it created so much chaos within our country. The media is bent on destroying us. I mean, I really believe that. Other than, I would say we are not. We're trying to present a view that's fair and balanced and very traditional in view, but when we really look at mainstream media, we have to recognize that they are working to create chaos within our society. Absolutely. And it's happening, and it will continue to happen. And
divide and conquer, and how sick is that, really? Instead of building our country up, let's just tear it down and destroy it. Why? I think more people, if we can have more people just say why. Why is this a thing? Why is dividing us such a big thing? Why? Yeah. And start to really think about it.
And why aren't they being held accountable? When Richard Jewell was actually a hero, but the media took it and ran with it and made all the suspicion over him. So anyways, we're gonna come back with Vanessa, the communications coach, when we come right back after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Back.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota. Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county.
Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. I'm back. We're going to continue talking about the media, and we've got an expert that's joining us, Vanessa Denha Garmo, and she has a master's in communications, and she works in the Detroit area. I'm going to read just a little bit of what she does. She has a really big bio, and I'm not surprised, but she's the founder of Epiphany Communications and Coaching. She's a communications strategist, evangelist, content creator, and coach. And she works with clients on careers and management and team building and communication. And I have worked with her, and she is a pro. Welcome, Vanessa. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, ladies.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
And Vanessa was listening in on the tape that the viewers watched just ahead of this, because I thought she came in early so she could listen in on Zoom, because it's very relevant to what you're doing right now too. And you've done TV productions, radio, and print media. I mean, you've done every kind of media there is, and so you're not working directly, but you're kind of working with clients now, right?
Yeah, I was a reporter for many years from an ABC affiliate in Detroit, and I did both print and broadcast, mainly radio. And then I went on my own a few years ago in 2010, and so I have my own company, but I'm still very much involved in the media and the work that I do. And the TED Talk, as one of you said earlier, is right on. It's very relevant today. In fact, more relevant than ever, even when she produced it in 2018.
Right.
Wow. So what are you seeing in the in your work? Because journalism has changed a lot, wouldn't you say?
Tremendously. And earlier you were talking about journalism schools, and that's where it really all starts. I've talked to reporters locally who have gone to journalism schools to give talks, and they were really surprised on how they're being trained not to be journalists or fact finders, but to be activists. And that's not journalism. That's not what you go to journalism school for. You go to journalism school to seek truth, to find facts, to tell the story in a balanced way. And they're being trained to take on an issue and push it. And it's moving into the newsrooms. And so the media has been changing for a long time. It started changing when I left in 2003, when I left full-time reporting. And it's even gotten much worse today in terms of it being very biased and very agenda-driven.
And did you see any specific animosity in how President Trump was handled by the news?
Is that a Facetious question.
Is that a for real question, right?
That's a real question. Sure, yeah. I mean, we're very divisive in this country politically. I have never been a fan of party politics. And as a reporter, because I've seen really intelligent people on both sides, and I've seen very not so good people, very corrupt people on both sides. I think that the media took that a step level up in terms of the coverage of Trump, and he was hated from the get-go. It was all about his personality. And in fact, I think a lot of people voted against a personality instead of 4 policies in this last election. And a lot has to do with how media covered him. And he took on media. As you saw in that TED Talk, we all thought that Trump coined that fake news term, and it wasn't. He just kind of took it over and really went with it. And it kind of backfired in the faces of the people who started it all, because he took that fake news concept and really challenged the media throughout his entire presidency. And you really can see the difference in the way that the media press corps has covered Biden compared to Trump and the press conferences, and including their press secretaries. They really challenged Kayleigh, which they do not do with this press secretary at all. In fact, Biden hasn't given one press conference. And, the first 40 days, he didn't give one press conference, and where Trump was constantly in front of the media.
Wow, that's so interesting. As I'm thinking a little bit about what you had said in regards to education and how things have changed. And I'm just wondering, have you seen anything in regards to people, teachers, or movements that are trying to counter what's happening in the school system with the teaching and journalism specifically?
No, that's a great question. I would love to do research on that and go talk to professors in journalism schools, and maybe that might be a great research opportunity for someone even watching that, because that's a fabulous question. I'd like to see because a lot of the teachers in journalism school are journalists, are former reporters, or full-time reporters. So it'd be interesting to see what they say about what's being taught and what's going on. I mean, the reporter that left the business in Arizona, she was singing my song, I mean, and I wonder how many other reporters out there are like her, and reporters who are teaching in journalism school who feel the same way. I think it's a great question.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was wondering, are there any hot topic areas that they either try to push or try to avoid? I mean, I think I know the answer, but I'd like to hear it from you.
I think anything political today, we're very politically divisive in this country. You see it on social media. And I think anything that is along their agenda when it comes to issues like abortion, Planned Parenthood, those issues are pushed or silenced depending on the side that you're on. I mean, you look at the March for Life every year in Washington, it doesn't get nearly the coverage as it should, considering how many people it attracts. And yet the stories on abortion are not told, even forget the religious aspect of it, from a scientific approach, as it's linked to all these health issues. So I think anything political is very divisive in this country, and it depends on the agenda of the media outlet and how that story is going to be told.
So this is just an idea I'm having as I'm listening. I'm sorry, I'm really fascinated by what you're sharing, because I really am concerned about the direction that we're going and the power that the media has over the way that we think and what we do. So, and I know there's different outlets. I mean, Beck is working really hard to give a different voice to what's happening. So do you think that people like Carrie Lake and yourself, people who really want to present the news, I mean, could you get together and form some type of an organization where you can present real news to the people? Do you see that as an option?
Well, I hope somebody with a lot of money and who cares about balanced news reporting goes out and does that. That would be great. I think you need it funded, and I think there's a lot of reporters who want to get back to basic journalism and stop this agenda driven. But that's why I tell people all the time, you have to almost be your own reporter and your own investigator. You can't take stories at face value. Do your research. I watch everything. I read everything. I read stuff on the left. I read stuff on the right, because I want to know what's really going on. And you also have to challenge media. If you read a story and there's holes in that story and you have a lot of questions, post it on social media and ask them, why didn't you ask this question? Or where's this data? Where's this information? If you're leaving a story and you have more unanswered questions, that reporter did not do their job.
Well, they'll circle back to it, huh?
Yeah.
Circle back, circle back.
And you know, Cheryl mentioned that in part of her TED Talk, is that it's ridiculous when you see the same facts, and like that one reporter that said, oh, Trump took the bust of Martin Luther King off, and no, he didn't. The reporters are lazy today. Maybe it's because of the internet.
Yeah.
You know,
Are they lazy, or is it part of the agenda where they have the big network heads that are saying you're going to say this and you're not going to say that? I've heard that is going on.
I think it's both.
Yeah. And I want to pick that up when we come back after these messages. I want to talk about, because Vanessa, I think I heard from you earlier that there really was an agenda where reporters were told this is what you're going to do. No good news for the Republicans, no bad news for the Democrats. We'll continue this conversation when we come back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Beck Communications is now hiring independent sales agents around the state. We're looking for highly motivated individuals to take advantage of this opportunity, selling advertising for our news and sports programming on Beck TV and sponsorships for the Bismarck Bucks indoor football team. Independent sales agents will make 50% commission on their completed sales for all products. Beck TV is the leader in broadcasting local sports, owner of the Bismarck Bucks indoor football team, and originator of newly launched news opinion programming. Submit your application now at careers@bechtel.coop. This is an exciting opportunity you can't pass up. 50% commission for independent sales agents now hiring at Beck Communications.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car! How will we? The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing. But how will we? The closing!
The experienced professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless, and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are here with Vanessa Denha Garmo, and she is a communications coach extraordinaire. You have experience in every kind of media, and you worked in it, so you know what the work looks like. And we've been talking about what's going on in the media and how very different it is. Once upon a time, your badge of honor as a journalist was nobody owned you. You went after the story, no matter how inconvenient your findings were. You went after the story. That's why Watergate and so many of these investigative journalists. But now it's about agenda, and we've been talking about the education system where they're training journalists to be agenda-driven, and you used to lose your jobs for doing that. Like, how did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, there was a time that you didn't even know where a reporter slanted left or right. You didn't know their politics. Today, it's so different. I mean, all over social media the past year, reporters were pounding Trump and making comments and making personal opinions about politics. You never saw that when I was a reporter. In fact, I think you would have gotten fired for that. You didn't want people to know where you stood politically because you wanted to come off as being being balanced and not biased. And so people share their opinions all the time. And you see the reporters, the way they ask questions today, they can't even hide how they feel. They can't even ask questions in a way that they come off as being unbiased. So it's starting in journalism school from what I'm being told. And I love your question about asking these professors and these journalism teachers. I'd like to know what they think. I'm just getting this information for people who are going to guest speak at these schools, or even some students. I had a student call me asking me questions about the industry. And I asked him, I said, well, what are you being taught at school? And he referenced that about being agenda driven and taking on issues. And I'm like, really? That's what they're teaching you in journalism school? And it's not about finding the facts, the who, what, when, where, how, and why. And he says, no, a lot of people talk about taking up issues. And I just thought, wow, that's not journalism school. That's a whole nother field.
Wow. Vanessa, can you share to what extent that you can, because I know you have a lot of clients and friends involved in the industry, can you share what happened when Trump was elected and somebody at the network level at a board meeting, what they were instructed?
Well, it wasn't just when Trump was out, it just throughout, I have a lot of friends who in the media are still in the media, so I'm very careful in what I share, but they tell me stuff all the time of what's happening. And one particular person, she was sharing with me a story, and she said, yeah, they were being told, hey, if it makes the Democrats look bad, don't really cover that. And if it makes the Republicans look good, don't really cover that. And I'm like, wow, that's being discussed in the newsroom. I mean, that's the conversation. That's just so blatant. I mean, and it was just like a consensus. And that was just one of many stories I have heard over the last, 5-6 years that's happening in the newsrooms across America, where there's just an agenda-driven philosophy. And that's why we're so politically divisive here. And the media is driving that political division. It's not about seeking truth and facts and electing the best candidate. It's about the big tech and big companies and the media controlling who we elect and whose voices are heard.
Wow. Right. So I'm just curious about what you've had to do personally as you navigate through the divisiveness and the agendas that you're seeing. How has it impacted you?
Well, I've moved away a lot from, I think there's wonderful reporters out there, if they're surviving the media, I think they're really talented people out there who truly want to do the best work. I just don't think it's the majority. And media has changed drastically anyway since, the internet came about to be. Earned media is very difficult to get today. And there's a lot less resources, a lot less reporters than there were many years ago. And so I've moved away from media pitching like I did when I first started my company. And that's why I moved into content creation and communication strategy work and coaching. Because if you have a company just based on trying to get public relations through media hits, that's a tough sell. That's very difficult. And so I've moved away from that in my career.
Wow.
So I have two thoughts. Years ago, we'd buy the National Enquirer basically for entertainment, and now that's like main news. I mean, that's what our news is like right now. It's like the National Enquirer from the 70s and 80s.
Right. It's funny that you say that, because I just wrote down that news has become more about entertainment than about presenting the news.
Well, it's about clicks. It's about clicks. They make their money based on the clicks. So anytime you click on a story, they're making money. And that's why that social media is designed the way that it is. And if you haven't seen the documentary Social Dilemma, I highly recommend it, because it really explains how we're being manipulated by social media. And we don't get our news by just reading a newspaper. I'm an old school person reading, the newspaper. We don't get that anymore. We go to social media, we see a headline we like, and we click it on. And that's how they make their money. It's very click driven.
Sure. Wow. That, and then my other point was, the media, they're going to do what their advertisers want them to do. And so a lot of advertisers, let's just pick them out. It's big tech and big pharma. Yeah. And that's what kind of drives the media. So of course, if they're going to spend, $1 million on a channel or whatever it is, they're going to report exactly what that advertiser wants them to report. And that's the sad part, in my opinion.
Yep.
It's sad because I feel it's destroying our country. I'm sorry, Vanessa, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you're right, Patty. It is destroying. It's destroying not just our country, it's destroying relationships. People are literally stop being friends with somebody because of politics. And social media is designed to be divisive. It's designed to divide and conquer us. That's what that documentary Social Dilemma really explains, is that it is designed to get you fighting with each other. In fact, they even went so far as to say it's really designed to create civil war. And I'm not saying this, it's designed to get us fighting to the point that we're so divisive in our own country. And it's very scary. It's very
I just watched that movie actually a couple weekends ago, and it is scary. And they're all top heads of people that are like, they worked at Google or they worked at these big corporations, tech corporations, and every single one of them said they do not let their kids on social media.
Wow. Yeah. You know what's funny is I was put in Facebook jail a little while ago. I've since been allowed to go back into Facebook, but I really withdrew from it because of that, and I have not had the desire. It's been amazing to me to have been removed from it and to feel that sense of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much I had been sucked into that negative energy that is on social media, and to be free of that now, it's just, I have no desire to go back at all. I haven't missed it. So,
I won't engage in politics on social media. I will not have. It's not designed to have constructive conversations about politics. If someone wants a one-on-one conversation with me, I'm happy to have it. I will not engage in politics on social media.
Good counsel.
And we have talked on our show several times about how everything going on in our society right now, it's so much of the design is to split families apart. And, families start to bicker over something that's posted on Facebook, or, especially if it's political or it's something to do with some of the social things going on in our society. And it starts to split families, and then it splits communities, and then pretty soon you've split the country. And it just seems like it's so much by design. And, I was looking at, with everything going on right now, the biggest news story, it's everywhere, and now we're starting, let's split England away from the monarchy. Let's start that discussion, the whole interview with Oprah, and it's like, is that really as good as we can do as a country to try and get ourselves back to something that's decency, is to debate whether or not they were crapped on by the Queen? I mean, seriously, it's so bizarre to me. What's newsworthy?
A royalty is always going to attract people's attention, and that's why The Crown is doing so well on Netflix, because it's entertainment for people. But we have to be, take charge of our lives and tune this stuff out. They can't sell what we don't. We're commodities. They're selling us, and so we have to walk away from some of this and say, you know what? I'm not for sale. You're not going to use me. And I'm going to turn away and walk away from some of this stuff. And I think limiting your time on social media at the very least is very important.
That's awesome.
I love that, Vanessa. Vanessa is also a certified life coach, and she promised me if we didn't talk about it this time, she would come back again. And
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to come back again.
I definitely want you to come back and talk about your life skills, because the information you just gave is to remember that we are considered a commodity, and don't let them do that to you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Vanessa, and
Thanks,
we will have you on again
soon.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll be back after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Howdy, folks. It's the Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bussin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon rattling pie with a cum roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve. Through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. I'm back, and we're going to switch subjects just a little bit, but it's kind of on a continuum. We're going to talk about the education system. There's a student just this last week, Owen Stevens, who has been, he's in the education department, and he has been suspended. He attends State University of New York, and he's been suspended, and he cannot get any of the required courses in order to complete his degree. And his offense was that on his private Instagram account, he said, a man is a man, a woman is a woman, a man is not a woman is not a man.
Shocking.
Now, you could have said that through the entire history of humanity. You could have said that up until about, I don't know, when did it start becoming criminal? 10, 20 years ago? But now
not even
you
that
can't.
long ago.
Not even that long ago.
5 years maybe, max.
That you would have gotten into this kind of trouble that you can't even get your degree now.
Right.
He was going to be on the show today. I was so excited, but then I thought, man, I'm surprised, you know.
Yeah.
He's under suspension here, and sure enough, his legal counsel told me this case is under appeal. I want to take a look at his website. This guy is a cultural warrior. I don't know if we have that to bring up or not. He's a cultural warrior, and he's saying, in God we trust. He's not saying anything outrageous. This is what our founding fathers
That's on
said.
every dollar
That's on
bill.
every dollar, yeah.
Every coin.
Yeah.
Every coin, every
Exactly.
dollar.
But one of his, he has e pluribus unum, which means one for all. And that's at the top of his website too. I'm going to read what he has written on his website, because he was told he needs to be less political. He needs to take down some of the political thing on his website and in his Instagram and his videos, and he has to go to re-education classes. Are we in a
This is
communist
scary
country?
times.
Yeah,
You bet it is.
Crazy,
And
unbelievable.
he says, welcome. I firmly believe that America is the greatest country ever. Wow, is that radical or what? My podcast covers culture, politics, and life through the lens of a conservative and Christian man. Liberty, American values, and individuality are the greatest gifts that this country has to offer.
Wow.
So the dean of the college thinks he could be very dangerous in the classroom, that some of his beliefs could be hurtful to students.
And just as another student, he's not the instructor. He
No.
is a student sitting next to another student with an opinion,
Right.
and he's not allowed in the classroom. BS.
And isn't college supposed to be where they really get to branch out and try out their ideas that they've had since high school that maybe, you know, that's where you debate your ideas is college.
Carmen, you're living in the past. That's the way it used to be.
I'm old. Okay, I'm old. I got it. Okay.
We all are old.
I guess. I mean, but this is supposed to be America.
Yeah.
I mean, you're paying good money to go to college to learn and to grow in your ideas.
Yes.
And that, wow.
Well, so here I go. I just have to say, he gives me some hope. I mean, he's a college student, and he's standing alone, or it appears that he is, yet he's doing it. And there are other people I know who will follow his example because they have to be feeling it too. I mean, we're not weird to think that these traditional values are the values that we want to continue on with in our country. And so, awesome, Owen. I'm so freaking proud of you. Like, way to take a stand. I mean, even, I hate to say this, but even if it costs him the ability to get his degree, he's going to go far in this world because he is a man that has convictions and he's standing next to them. He's going to be okay. So, that's awesome.
And I emailed him today and I said, we're going to talk about you on the show today and I'm going to ask everybody to pray for you.
Yeah.
Because he's fighting this fight for all of us.
You bet. You bet. And one thing I have noticed with this whole dust up that we have going on in our country, if you're standing on the side of truth, sooner or later, your side of truth wins. And it may not even be while you're still alive, but if we stand for truth, it will survive. But if none of us stand, it goes away, and that's what they're after. And we can't let that happen. I just really believe that.
Yeah.
So if I say, let's fight for America, does that mean we're supposed to duke it out? No, that doesn't mean that. I just had to clarify that.
I was going to say, thanks for clarifying that.
Let's fight for America, you guys. It's like, why does the silent majority, okay, why do we get silenced? Okay, I guess they call us the silent majority. It's time for us to stand up and speak up and get up, get angry. Just, we've got to take our country back. And we can't do it sitting in our living rooms. We can't do it sitting around. We have got to get up. There's just the small minority of the population is making big changes in our country, and we've got to put an end to it.
Okay, so how do we do that? Because I think, people sitting in their living rooms right now, I mean, they're hearing us as we're saying that, but really, a lot lot of people are like, I don't know what to do.
It honestly starts with your school boards. It starts at a very small, whether it's a school board or a church board, and then it moves on to the county level, become a county commissioner, then it goes to the state level. But get on boards to make change, because it seems like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and we're running out of grease, people. We are running out of grease.
You know, and it even goes on, I'll go one step further, in your schools, even to be active in your PTO.
Yes.
You know, the parent-teachers organizations, the attendance at them that I've heard from many people all over the state, and even some friends out of this state, it's pathetic, really. And
Nobody
I think
wants
parents, but parents are also being told that they're not in charge, that the school, the teachers, the curriculum, the everything else, they're to follow whatever's being dictated. And some parents, I mean, they're just worn down, and it's just like, okay, well, nobody else thinks like I do. I guess I'll just go along with it. At least the kids are they're learning how 2 + 2 works, you know?
Right.
But all the stuff that goes with that, and unless it comes from that organic level, schools aren't necessarily going to listen. But parents uniting to say, no, we don't want this kind of messaging to our kids, that's where it starts too. It's a big message that I think needs more vocal support to it.
And every time one person stands up, then they give courage to other people. Why do we love Kristi Noem so much?
Right.
The governor of South Dakota? Because she didn't care what everybody else was doing. She wasn't going to follow the sheep. She was going to stand up for what she thought was right. And the same with Owen here, Owen Stevens. He is standing up for what's right, and we can at least pray for him, and we can support him, and we can do the same in whatever way presents itself to us, is stop being silenced. Because basically he's saying, I'm an American, I'm a Christian, I have a right to these opinions. How dare the school tell him what to do with his private Facebook page and his Instagram, and their values that were once, they are the values of our country that they were founded
it's just
on.
a normal traditional value that they're trying to get away from.
Right.
And it's like, it's enough. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I want to touch on what you were talking about in regards to parents getting involved. You know, I think it's so important. There is this messaging that's occurring in the school system. It's in the textbooks. It's in the teacher curriculum. I mean, as parents, we have to be aware of what our kids are being taught. I remember when my oldest, they were talking about things that when he brought home, I was shocked. He's almost 26 now. And, you know, we have to be aware of the messaging they're receiving so that we can counter that. I mean, definitely get involved with PTO, but I would say develop relationships with the teachers so that you can talk to them when you start seeing things that go against what you know to be right, and you can, you know, bring forward an idea that just suggests, you know, I'm not okay with this being shared in the classroom. So that's another way.
I'm old enough, I'll take you back, when one of my daughters was in junior high. And they started sex ed. It was called sex ed back there. It wasn't called health. And anyway, I don't have enough time to get into it, but bottom line was they didn't have enough textbooks so that the students could bring them home so that the parents could actually look at them. And the parents that attended the meeting, it was a pretty good sized crowd, but everybody just went, well, I guess, you know, whatever. And how sad was that? That was a big change in our curriculum, and they didn't have enough textbooks for kids to bring home.
Yeah, and we're all busy, but parents really do need to look at the textbooks. And I had a friend of mine, we homeschooled until high school, and then they went to St. Mary's, and so we did avoid some of that, but I looked at some of the curriculum that was at some of the schools, and we need to make it our business and not just go, oh, well.
Yes, we do.
Because I have seen a difference when parents have spoken up.
Yeah.
Well, that's all for today on this topic. We're gonna go to the lighter side after these messages with Ladies of Another View. I'm Beck.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Kohler Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back, and we are right up into the lighter side already.
Goes so fast.
And one of these days, I want to talk about, maybe even later on this segment, we can talk about how we can be light all of a sudden. We're talking about these real serious things, and then here we are smiling and laughing, and but I think we have to do that, and that's why
You bet.
That's why I want to have Vanessa back to talk about how do you do that when you work in a serious business. And you've got to move away from it and smile sometimes.
Well, let's think of it as our viewers' dessert, okay?
Yeah,
there you go.
We save the best for last,
Yeah.
something light and fluffy and sweet.
And it's calorie-free,
there you go.
fat-free.
Yeah.
Won't go to your hips.
I'm thinking maybe we might need to rename this segment as the dessert. So anyways, I'm going to give you something to smile about. On Friday, our grandson was over, and what you don't know is Grandpa wouldn't let me videotape him. He was dancing and acting very silly, and so this was our grandson's response.
Fancy.
Grandpa.
That's great.
Oh, how sweet.
You notice how
me want to chant too.
Notice how he said, "See, I told you, Grandpa." They were having a dance-off, actually.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm sorry that I don't have the video of Mark, but I thought I'd stay married instead. But it's fun, and it's funny because we had, before that was Down by the Bay. We just had these songs on the Google, the children's playlist, and that one came on. So yeah, a little routine to go with it. Yeah,
It's making me think about music. Okay, I love music. Like, it's so powerful. At least it speaks to me, and it can either lift you up or it can bring you down. I mean, it just has such power to influence our moods. And so, I mean, that's one thing we actually could do is when we're feeling down, put on music that's going to lift your spirits and help you feel better. And if you're the dancing type, you know, just go with it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yep. And I used to have fun, I think with every one of the kids, there would wind up being a wedding dance or something, and when they were small enough, I could just dance them around the floor at the dance, and that's some of our most treasured memories, for me anyway. And some of them, my youngest, he was probably 6 or so, and I was still, just hold me when you do that. You know, so I would carry him, and it's like, I can't do that anymore. You're getting too heavy. But it was really a lot of fun. Dancing is huge in my life for a mood. That's a mood changer right there.
Me too.
Yeah, I love to dance too. My husband and I, we actually love to dance. Just don't have a lot of time to do it anymore. But it brought me back to a memory of my kids. We used to listen to Bon Jovi in the car all the time. And so here's our youngest. He was at the water fountain at the little Catholic high school, and he was singing "Shot Through the Heart" instead of "Shot to the Heart." Shot through the heart, and you're so lame. I said, "You're so lame," and so they had all the words wrong, but he was just singing away at the water fountain, and it was just fun.
That's
just
awesome.
great memories with music.
Oh, you know, actually last night I was listening to music. I was with a friend, and we were listening to music, and I seriously was we were listening, I think, to George Strait, and I was just belting it. You know, I felt it, and I couldn't resist that. Music is just amazing. It's powerful.
Yes, it
so
is.
Turn on your radios.
Yes, it is.
Well, yeah, you know, I used to try to listen in the morning, and I've gotten away from that. But that's a good reminder, Kendi. Instead of going to social media in the morning, maybe start and end your day with music.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So.
And I haven't found a good rap tune yet. I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
I'll share
I'm
with
just
you.
saying.
I got a few.
Oh, do you? Can I understand the words? Because I'm all about the words.
But you know, that is a recurring message we have, though, is just to do something to lift yourself up and to lift others up. That's another thing.
Yep.
Because You know, when we talk about what can we do, and we find these little things that we can do.
You bet.
Because we need to do something.
Well, I found a bag of cherry juju hearts for me today. I was having a bad day, and I have been on this cleanse diet, and I failed. I absolutely.
I was going to say, that's not on the list.
I went ahead, and there was 2 left in this one bag, and then I cracked open another bag, and I'm sorry, but I went for it. And
go big.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Go big or go home.
Exactly. And confession is good for the heart, Mary. I'm glad you told us.
There you go.
And how many other people are you making feel better today? That they're not the only one. Maybe they cracked into the juju hearts too. And
I haven't shared this, but at the 180 Health Clinic where I work, they're doing a no sugar challenge.
I was on that.
Yeah. Guess what? I totally failed too. So I'm eating sugar and carbs. So if any of my coworkers are watching, I just came out and shared with you that I'm not doing what you are, but I'm okay with it.
See what happens? You confess, and then
I feel so much
candy
better.
opens
It's a
up.
domino effect.
What about
right?
you, Carmen? What have you done?
Oh my gosh, I made this cake today that's got gummy worms and everything else in it. So I'm going to be just a fat pig by the
For
night.
your grand, and we have to have pizza first. We're having pizza after work, everybody. So we're being a real bad example to everybody who's trying to stick to a good, healthy diet. And
that is important, but sometimes you just need a little treat, and it's okay. I mean, every now and then you just need the sugar, you need the carbs. It's good.
That reminds me of the pour some sugar on me.
Yeah. That's a different.
Oh gosh.
Within moderation, though, so that you don't have a hangover, a sugar hangover the next day.
Right.
Yeah.
What was that called? The chocolate. That movie.
I don't know.
Gosh, I forgot.
It's time to go.
Whatever.
Tune in tomorrow and we'll find out the name of that movie. And we will join us again. Up next is Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp. If you didn't like what we were talking about, maybe you'll like him. So tomorrow, join us again. Ladies of Another View on Beck.